three young people check into the Meadow Inn for the night's rest. What they don't know is that the motel has its secrets and the evil intentions of the motel employees. April 2007. The police authorities shut down the Pinewood Motel, which is located in North Carolina. With a shaky videotape, it is informed that over 200 videotaped murders have been recorded by the motel employees. Another shaky videotape followed by the fact that the earliest tape of these murders has been dated back to September 2004. The movie follows the story of the first victims. On an isolated, quiet road, a car is rashly being driven by the driver. Inside the car, there is a couple. The couple is recently married and is still in their wedding attire. Because the bride is drunk, she acts without thinking. The groom tries to stop her from showering him with kisses while they are driving, but to no avail. The bride climbs on the groom's lap and blocks his view from the road. Knowing it is risky, the groom stops the car in a corner. While they are in their moment, a black man knocks on the window and startles the couple. The groom lowers his window and starts to talk to the man. The man says they are on private property and that they should leave. To threaten them further, the man removes his shotgun. Seeing the strange man armed, the couple is startled and the groom immediately drives away. They soon reach a nearby hotel. The groom parks the car and gets out, with the bride still inside the car. The motel's name is Meadow Inn. The groom continuously rings the entrance bell to call for someone. A man emerges from the door near the entrance. Another man follows. The first man's name is Gordon while the second man is Reese. Gordon attends to the groom's needs and gives him the key to his room, while Reese stares at him with a smile on his face. Outside, the intoxicated bride climbs on the window and screams for the groom to come soon. Since the groom is in a hurry, he hastily writes down his contact information and throws a few dollars in Gordon's ankle before rushing out of the reception room. The groom gets into his car and drives to their room. Gordon and Reese watch them drive away and Gordon orders Reese to get to work. Inside the room, the bride and the groom start to have fun with each other. In a rush, the groom fails to double lock the room door. The room near the reception area is the manager's room. Inside the manager's room, Gordon and Reese are watching the bride and groom make out in their room. The mystery behind the room is that every hotel room has a hidden CCTV camera installed by the employee. The room lights start to flicker and then shut off completely. After a few seconds, the lights come back. The bride thinks it is better to head back to the car, but the groom disagrees. They get into their car and leave soon. Just then, another car enters the motel. Gordon asks Reese to calm down and change the sheets. Reese follows. Gordon plants a fake smile to cater to the new guests that have entered their doors. This time, a man named Smith enters. Smith is accompanied by a woman who stays back near the car. Gordon, at first, passes a room key but then changes to another one. The room now Smith stays in is room number 6 instead of room number 2. Inside the room, Smith and the woman settle down. Gordon and Reese sit down in front of the TV and watch them, just like they did during the bride and groom's time. In room number 6, when the woman's back is facing Mr. Smith takes a dagger out and stabs the woman brutally. Gordon and Reese are shocked as they have witnessed a murder that they did not expect. After eliminating the woman, Mr. Smith calmly takes his gloves off and sits at the end of the bed. Next, he wraps the woman's body in a plastic bag and heads in to take a shower. When Gordon and Reese try to sell the bridegroom's video to a man, the man does not pay a satisfactory amount to the men. The men are disappointed. Gordon tries to convince the man to pay more, but he refuses to do so. While they are talking, the man spots the video of Mr. Smith eliminating the woman brutally. He is impressed with it and decides to talk to Mr. Smith. Inside the room, Mr. Smith is tied up by the hotel employees. Reese, Gordon, and the man are in the room. Reese is armed. Mr. Smith makes excuses about entering the room and finding her dead, but they do not believe her. After talks, Mr. Smith convinces the hotel manager, Gordon, to hire him. Mr. Smith plans to torture and eliminate motel guests that stay in the Meadow Inn, and then sell the videotapes as snuff films. They team up. Days later, a young couple drives back home. Caleb and Jessica talk inside where Caleb is tense. Caleb is scared about meeting Jessica's father as he is worried her father might not like him. Jessica tries to calm him down. Suddenly, Caleb's friend Tanner jumps from the backseat and startles Jessica and Caleb. Tanner suggests they should head back and not meet Jessica's father. Since Jessica's father's house is a few hours away, they decide to halt for the night. On the way, they find a billboard for Meadow Inn's motel. Deciding it is a better option, they head their way. Throughout the way, Tanner and Jessica have a cold war going on between them. Tanner is unhappy that Caleb is going to go stay with Jessica. On entering the reception area, Caleb and Jessica do not find anyone. Tanner stays back inside the car with earphones on. Gordon suddenly pops up from behind. He greets the couple, and while Caleb is paying for the room rates, Gordon presses a switch that is hidden under the table. The switch leads to a red blinking light at a corner to indicate others of their new victim. After talking, the couple leaves and gets into the car to reach their respective rooms. Tanner divides to take the room adjoining Jessica and Caleb's room. After the couple settles down, they start to talk about Caleb and his living situation after they get married. Caleb says he is okay to shift for Jessica after his marriage. They share a kiss. Jessica switches the light off and they start to have a moment. A silhouette stands near the window outside the room and stares at the couple. It soon disappears. While they are occupied, someone from the outside starts to knock on the door furiously. The couple is startled, and for a few seconds, they do not know what to do. After a few other knocks are made at the door, Caleb walks toward the window next to the door. He tries to look outside to know who is knocking at his door but finds no one. The knocks continue and Jessica spots another door opposite the bed. Caleb rushes towards the door and tries to hold the door and prevent it from not being open. He hears his friend Tanner's voice. Tanner angrily asks Caleb and Jessica to open the door. Caleb opens it. The couple sigh in relief. On entering the room, Tanner grumbles about his hand. He tries to argue why his friend and his girlfriend are so worked up, as he is the only one near their room and that nobody else would knock on the door. Jessica is not so happy with Tanner barging inside their room and disturbing their moment. She decides to get into the shower before she and Tanner end up fighting and put Caleb in a tough spot. After Jessica leaves, Tanner and Caleb talk. According to Tanner, Jessica will never be happy with whatever Caleb would do in the future. Caleb tries to take her side. He passes by a camera that is set inside the cuckoo clock. On the other hand, Gordon and Reese grumble. Just as they are about to enter the room, Tanner starts to bang on their door, which disrupts their plan. Gordon suggests that they should install some CCTV cameras outside too to avoid situations like that. He also thinks it is risky to attack as there are 3 of them while it is only him and Reese at the moment. Mr. Smith is outside, making sure things are in place for their plan. At a window in the bathroom, a masked man stands outside and follows Jessica's every movement, unknown to Jessica. One of the masked men informs another masked man that Gordon has decided to not go forward with the plan as there are 3 of them. The second masked man ignores the first one and starts to walk away. At that time, another car comes by and hopes to get a room for themselves. Before the man can even enter the reception room, Gordon steps outside and lies to the man saying they have some maintenance work which results in unavailable rooms. The man thinks the motel is peculiar but decides to leave. After seeing the car drive away, all the men reunite. The second masked man is Mr. Smith. Jessica exits the bathroom and asks Tanner to leave. Tanner sighs and leaves the couple alone. When Tanner is all alone in his room, he turns the TV on and witnesses live footage of the room next door to him. There, he realizes that they are being watched. He quickly rushes inside their room and informs them. Jessica does not believe him at first, but when the men look around the room and find many more cameras set around the room, she is scared. The trio decided to leave immediately. They get into the car, but the car does not start. At that moment, Mr. Smith comes and threatens to hit the trio's car with his car. The trio does not know what to do, and so they decide to head inside. When they are hiding in the room, Mr. Smith, along with 2 masked men, captures Caleb and starts to stab him in the stomach. With excruciating pain and wounds, Caleb passes away. While Caleb is being attacked, Jessica and Tanner run inside the woods and hide there. They escape and run into a nearby house. When they knock on the door, they are met with a couple that lives inside. Seeing their frightened faces, the couple lets them in. On entering the house, Jessica and Tanner start to narrate all the happenings at the motel. The husband does not believe them at all. Mr. Smith, along with the other men, catches up with Tanner and Jessica. There, Mr. Smith tells the couple that Jessica and Tanner ran away from their motel after stealing from them. The duo immediately disagrees, which leaves the couple confused about what to do next. The wife thinks it is best to call the police authorities, which scares Mr. Smith and others. Just as she is about to call for help, he proceeds to eliminate her husband. Mr. Smith shoots her. After he shoots her, during the killings, Jessica and Tanner flee again. After a while, they are caught by the men. They bring them back to the motel and start to torture Tanner first. Tanner is soon put to eternal sleep. Mr. Smith thinks he should be the only one to eliminate Jessica, and he sends the others away. Gordon is not happy with what Mr. Smith just said. He thinks Mr. Smith has now become a loose cannon and that he does not intend to follow Gordon's lead anymore. Gordon, with the other men, plans that they will let Mr. Smith eliminate Jessica. After he is done with her, Gordon and the men will call the police authorities and blame everything on Mr. Smith. When Jessica is left alone for a minute, she manages to untie herself. Mr. Smith returns to find the spot empty, where Jessica was. Jessica proceeds to stab Mr. Smith in the face. She escapes the room, but not before grabbing a gun for her safety. Gordon searches the lake in hopes of finding Jessica. There, he finds a sweater floating on the water. He heads in that direction, and while he is investigating it, Jessica pulls the trigger and eliminates Gordon. On the other hand, Mr. Smith hears the gunshot. He follows the sound, which leads him to the lake. On reaching there, he finds Gordon's body lying on the ground and Jessica nowhere to be seen. Jessica escapes and hides inside the nearby trailer. After a search, Mr. Smith finds her. He attempts to stab her, but she causes a fire, which leaves Mr. Smith burning to death in the trailer. The next morning, the police arrive. They talk to Jessica about the happenings of last night. Jessica narrates the whole situation from last night, but the police find it difficult to believe her as no cameras or bodies are found. Meanwhile, a scarred Mr. Smith reaches another motel called the Pinewood Motel. He informs a truck driver that he will have the Pinewood Motel up and running in a few weeks, as he is waiting for the cameras to be set. Mr. Smith gives the truck driver one of the snuff film tapes and promises that he will make more copies as soon as possible.